Janet Brazel, so glad to have you here today. And it's a very important topic that we're speaking about because tomorrow, March 4th, is Brain Injury Awareness Day.
Mhm.
And I wanted to have you on because you could speak a lot about this certain subject, and most importantly, talk about your book that we're going to see shortly. So I met you, I think it was last fall, at a networking function.
Mhm.
And I remember you saying you were a little bit shy, and I remember seeing you and I thought, well, I gotta approach her. And I'm so glad I did because I think our friendship is awesome. And the things that we've both been doing together. You introduced me to BIS Toastmasters, which I am now a part of. So I want to thank you for that because I was looking for a Toastmasters group, and I
Mm.
just feel so welcome by that group. I just feel at home with every one of you. So I'm so grateful for that. Thank you so much.
You're
Now,
welcome.
since we're talking about Brain Injury Awareness Day, I want you to tell your story. So please, Janet, take it away.
Okay, thank you. I had a great upbringing, and I lived in a province in Canada, on the east, an island called Newfoundland.
Oh, I love it.
Mm. And I had four brothers and one sister, and all of us were spoiled by our parents in our own way. And I had lots of friends, and I wanted to be a secretary, or today's term is administrative assistant.
Right,
And I wanted to be the very good secretary.
right on.
So when on a weekend getaway, my friends and I went to the central Newfoundland for a weekend getaway. And upon returning home, we were teasing and laughing and waiting to get home for our garden party, which was taking place in Torres Cove.
Wow.
And as we came down the hill and rounded a turn, there was an impaired driver over on our side of the road.
Oh my goodness.
And he hit us on the front passenger side. And that's exactly where I was seated.
Oh no.
So I ended up with a seatbelt being cut around my neck, blocking off oxygen to my brain, which resulted in a brain injury. And so next thing I realized, I was in the hospital and I was in a coma for 14 days and a semi-coma, which is I opened one eye for a few weeks and then I opened the other eye. And so that's where my healing began.
How old were you
I was
for this?
18 years old,
Wow.
just finished high school and in college doing some courses for my secretary. And that's where my healing started. And I
Mm-hmm.
was moved to a new rehab hospital
Mm-hmm.
and started in with rehab, and just like going to school, just every single hour there was a different rehabilitation. And I stayed in the hospital for 7.5 months,
Wow.
and and then I came home, of course, and that was different because I was on my own then, and I didn't have anyone to to follow
Right.
or to listen to with instructions. I just had to kind of do it myself.
Mhm.
So I just started first day and I just walked and or the best I could. I managed to walk. And then I just progressed slowly. And sometimes not even noticing like for a long time, but I knew that I really couldn't stop because I was scared to stop. I didn't want to
Yeah.
go back. So I kept pushing forward, giving my therapy 100% every day, nothing less.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
So you did your therapy for like, is it for the rest of your life or is it a short period of time?
No, it's every day. It's
Okay.
yeah, still
Oh,
uh,
wow.
many years later, still doing
Yeah.
therapy and exercise and
hmm
healing of all sorts.
Yeah. So, so you've, obviously you've recovered. You're doing your therapy. Tell me about how you got into, making your body feel better through yoga and breathing. Tell me that story. How did you get
I
into
was
yoga?
I was at a YMCA trying to go to the gym to get strong. I thought that strength would give me balance and help me heal. So I was at going to the YMCA, and I noticed there was a group of people in a room to the side as I walked in, and they were just standing there, not doing too much. And I said, well, that'll never work for me because they're not strengthening nothing and they're just like not doing anything. That's what I could see. But
Yeah.
when I inquired, it was a yoga class
hmm
and I ended up attending the class and found it very healing. But then I moved to another area in town and I lost that yoga. I lost access. So I searched for another yoga um, studio and I finally found one. And as I went in to this yoga studio, I was greeted by a nice large group of Indian men. Most of the class was
Oh,
men.
wow. You're brave.
Yeah, so yeah. So that's how I found yoga.
And were there
And
specific there were specific men from that group that you connected with, right?
yes, yes. Well, first off, I found I mean, I couldn't talk Hindi. I couldn't do nothing like that.
Right.
So I just sat on my mat and just followed along. And then they start doing some breathing, some different breathing with holding one nostril and breathing to the other and then changing. And I said, oh, this is never going to work for me. I said, this is not my custom. I said, I'm just
Oh.
going to finish this class.
hmm
And when it's over, I'll just get up and leave and, start doing my walking again.
Okay.
But as I stood up after the class was over, I found that everything seemed brighter. The sun was shining, and the room even appeared to be brighter, the colors. And I said, oh, this is really something. And
Yeah.
I said goodbye to the yoga instructor, and I left the class and went to my car and I'm thinking, wow, I feel different. It was amazing. It was really, and what it was the breath, the breathing, the different nostril breathings and the different types of breathings and practices with breath.
hmm
And that's what made the difference for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So my yoga instructor, his name was Dr. Sharma. He
Okay.
was, of course, from India, and he liked to walk to yoga every day, even in the cold winter months of minus 20, 20, minus 25. He would walk
Wow.
every day. And he was, yeah, he was an elderly man in very good shape mentally and physically. And yeah, so I had a very good mentorship with him and friendship. We drank lots of chai, and
Oh, lovely.
yeah, we had good meetings. And then Mr. Kumar came on
Hmm.
board,
Okay.
and he was another yoga teacher, and he was from India, and he taught in the army in India. So
Wow.
yeah, so I was
Y-
very honored to have both of them teach me for a few years. It was awesome.
So Mr. Zumar, he taught yoga to the Indian Army?
Yes, when he was in India.
That's
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah,
I think they need to bring that here to the Canadian Armed Forces.
no kidding. Yeah,
Right?
no kidding, right?
So okay, so they mentored you and they taught you. So when did you start, like I'm assuming now you're at this point starting to teach yoga yourself,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
wow,
Hmm. Yes,
that's
I had gotten some certificates, and I had I was looking for healing, any type
mm-hmm.
of healing for my body.
Yeah.
And I went to the Network Activity Center, which is a center for adult brain injured survivors, to socialize and to play games, to play pool, and to
Oh,
do a
lovely.
lot of things, just to be together, right?
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
Support each other, right?
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
talking to Akira when I went there at first. I made an appointment to go talk to Akira,
Mm-hmm.
and she was asking me, "And what are you passionate about?" And I said, "Well, the only thing I'm passionate about in this world is yoga." And she said, "Well, why don't you share your yoga with us?" And I said, "Oh, that sounds great." So I
Yeah.
taught there for 3, 4 years, and when the pandemic started, I taught for another year online.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that was very good.
wow. Are you still
Yeah.
doing that now, or are
I'm
you
not
still?
teaching there now. No,
Mhm.
no.
Okay. Are you planning to go back into that, or because it sounds like yoga is your passion.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really lovely. So now that we know that you've taught, I'd like to go into this special book right here.
Ooh,
Who is that lady?
I
Beautiful lady.
wonder.
So, tell me a little bit about this book. Why, what compelled you to write it? I think it's a great book.
Uh-huh.
Healing with yoga. I mean, yoga. I need to do it more often myself because I've got, not a great back. So, but yeah, tell me a little bit about what made you want to write this book.
Well, I wanted to write the book, and I tried several times, but I couldn't get it together. I couldn't. It's a huge burden to take on. I
Oh,
couldn't. There was too much involved. But then I came across Blackheart Books, and they kind of walked with me through this,
mhm.
and helped me and taught me step for step. So I was very delighted with that. So I got involved with them,
Hmm.
and that was my publisher, and Jury Roberts,
Yeah.
and that was very good.
Well, I
And
remember
the
you telling
reason,
me, sorry,
yeah,
I remember you telling me you had, once you wrote the book, you had uh, like
book
a
launch,
really, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Tell me about that, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah. No, um, I had a book launch back in June, I think,
Oh,
and yeah, it went very well. And I had about 50 people coming to my launch, and it was
oh,
great. Yeah, yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so lovely.
It was at the Kingsway Mall here in
Oh,
Edmonton.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible that you have this support and the resources to have this book launch. Just really amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I have your book. So
Thank you.
thank you for signing it.
Yeah, sure. But you were asking why I wrote the book. Well,
Yes.
I thought that I was into my third decade of being brain injured,
Oh,
and I really felt like I needed to share the knowledge and the experiences that that I had gained and the challenges I had overcome, and ex, just share it
yeah.
with other brain injury survivors or caretakers or people
Yeah.
who don't know or probably think they do but don't really, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I also thought that I'd like to share because it's a very lonely place to be with a brain injury
Hmm.
because you lose your entire human body when you become first brain injured.
Well, I think you kind of gained it back with the yoga and breathing
I did.
exercise.
I gained things back for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, and that's why I wrote the book
Yeah.
because I needed to share how important and how healing yoga is
Hmm.
just by itself.
Yeah.
And I also included in the book ways to or things to avoid and things to do
Hmm.
and and some things that we might overlook
Hmm.
and things that we probably didn't quite put together and to think about, like
Hmm.
getting your hormones tested. I mean, you don't think on those
Oh,
things, but it's very, very important because,
right.
yeah, and things that you really wouldn't do otherwise. But every chapter is about some healing resource.
Well, I think your book is important because not only does it educate people who are experiencing, brain injury and stroke, but also educating people like me who
Mm,
don't really understand, right? So,
hmm.
I think it's wonderful that you are sharing this and inspiring so many people. I think it's wonderful.
Good.
So, yeah. So, do you want to add any more about your book here? I know I was looking at your conclusion there, and
Okay.
I
One
love that you
moment.
have these pictures here and a little bit of exercises, so that's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I was going to find something to do the poses. I was looking into shutterbacks and there was some poses you could get from that. But then I thought I can't talk about a pose that someone else is doing. I can only
Right.
talk about my pose. So I had to put myself as being the model.
Yes, and I love it. Good job.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to share probably a couple of chapter titles so you would
Yes.
have a better idea
Mhm.
of what. Okay. So in chapter 4, I have how is my breath going to help me heal?
Mhm.
Because that is the foundation of your healing is your breath. Hmm.
Right. Right.
And in chapter 8, why this is coming from my healing.
Mhm.
Why do I have poor blood circulation?
Mhm.
And as for I can read a couple of sentences
Mhm.
from the conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yoga was the solution for me. It increased my flexibility, my endurance, my lung capacity, and gave my blood better circulation. It gave me a positive outlook towards life, which contributed to my physical and mental peace.
That's lovely. So let's tell everybody where we can buy your book. And I think you said you have a special offer.
Yes. So if you purchase my book today,
Mhm.
I will also give a consultation about healing from a brain injury,
Oh,
a
free.
45-minute consultation
Wow.
worth millions of dollars.
Right.
But I will give it, I'm not even going to give it for the usual
Yeah.
price, which is 200. I'm going to give it today for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So where can we get your book? Where can people buy your book?
Well, go to my website,
Okay.
janetbrazel.ca.
Okay.
Nice
I'll
and
have
easy.
that on the YouTube channel for you.
Okay.
Wow. So is there anything else you want to add? Janet, what I'd like to ask you, what really matters to Janet? What matters to you?
Well, first off, I'd like to add that if brain injury survivors are feeling less confident or less courageous, a good place to go would be Toastmasters.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Because Toastmasters, you give speeches and you get leadership skills.
Yeah. You gain the confidence
Yes,
and
exactly.
you get supportive people like me who cheer you on, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
exactly. And
it's a great environment.
you get evaluations for your speech that they tell you what you've done good, what you
Yeah.
need help with, and it was
Yes.
very, very eye-opening for me.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
lovely. Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so and if anyone has any questions, they can also contact you on your website.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Well, Janet, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate this. And yeah, everybody, remember that it's Brain Injury Awareness Day, March 4th. Thank you,
Thank
Janet.
you. Thank you, Malida.